You have just watched me fold and jump an origami frog. This is an observation, one of the points along the cycle of the scientific process. A question that came to mind is whether all frogs are created equal. The quality of the frog will likely vary depending on who folds it, but what about the materials? To test this, I made frogs from 3 types of paper. I used generic printer paper to make the first set of frogs. I purchased some colored vellum from a major online retailer for the second set. And the third is a different vellum that I've been using for origami projects that I needed a more rugged sheet to withstand handling. We now have our treatments, the type of paper from which the frogs were made. By looking at how far each sheet bends to gravity, I can form a hypothesis. In this case, it looks like the colored vellum would be the strongest. My null hypothesis is that there will be no difference in jump length for any of the materials. My alternative hypothesis is that the colored vellum frogs will jump the farthest. However, because there is variation whether in nature, like in this species of clam, or between the individual frogs due to the small differences in the way they were folded, we will not only have to test multiples of frogs of each type of paper, but we will have to test each frog multiple times to gather a representative sample. The rule of thumb regarding replicates, the number of times you repeat the test, is to have 30. However, when conducting standard labs in high school and sometimes at the undergraduate level, we generally use 5 or 3 replicates to save time and materials. You can see how the distribution changes with a different number of replicates. Even with 30 samples, our data does not fit a normal curve, which means that we should get more samples. However, due to the time constraints, we are going to work with the 30 replicates we already have. I made 2 bar graphs from the descriptive statistics. The first 2 shows the data from each frog. The second shows the data just for the different materials. The error bars represent standard deviations. The graph suggests that there is a difference in distance jumped between the copy paper and the vellum. There did not appear to be a difference between the vellum types, however. Without a statistical test, we cannot quantify probabilities. However, the graph suggests that we would reject our null hypothesis, but only partially support our alternative hypothesis. There were several limitations in the study. For one, the vellum frogs tended to slide on the table, skewing the data towards longer jumps. As part of my goal was to observe the energy that could be released in each type of material, this is not necessarily a detriment. However, the course had a limited length, so any jumps or slides beyond 107 centimeters tended to stop short. As both types of vellum regularly reach these distances, a longer course will be required to determine whether there is a difference between the 2 types of vellum.